Hey y'all, so today I'm going to show you how to forge a herb chopper. What I've got here is just an old piece of leaf spring. I've already made the cut. I made a few out of this piece already. But I'll make 2 cuts to start these, and I'll just use a angle grinder with a cutoff wheel. Cut it off the main part, and then I cut a slit right here. It's about 3/8 of an inch wide. And this is going to be our handle. I'll forge this out to a taper, loop it up and around. Then we'll forge this out wider this way and wider this way and put our bevel in. So I'm going to get the forge lit, get that heated up, and we'll pick up on the anvil. To start with here, I've got my cut-off hardy end, and I'm just going to use it to start spreading this handle out. I'm going to spread it all the way out, get it out of the way, and then we'll come back and start working on the blade. I have to get me another heat here. Now we've got it back up to temperature again. Let's see if we can get this pulled the rest of the way out before it cools off. I'm going to work this over the horn, see if I can get a nice curve in right there. See that the horn's rounded, and you can see it where it's working it in. I'm going to go a little bit deeper with it. It's almost to where I want it. I've got it about there. I'm going to cool it off enough. I might have to get more heat. But I've almost got my curve in there where I want it. And what I'm going to do is just go ahead and turn this handle out this way. I'm going to hold on to that with my other tongs and just work the blade in. We'll use our Pritchell hole here to help us. Stick it in there and turn it out. I don't want to put a crease in it, so that'll probably be good right now for what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take my other tongs here. We'll get the blade heated back up to heat and start on it. This video is going to show you the difference in how your rounding hammer and your cross pins move metal. So this one, your cross pin is only going to move your steel in one direction, spreading out. But when you hit this one where it's ball shaped, it spreads out in all directions. I'm going to start here with the rounding hammer just to get this spread out and thin down just a little bit. I'm going to try to work it even. try to work it as long as we can while we got the heat. As it cools, you can start seeing all the divots in it where your hammer face hits, and where it's round, it's pushing it out in a circle. It's going out everywhere. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat it again, and I'll use the flat side of the hammer to flatten it back out, and that'll just stretch it out a little bit more and flatten everything up. I'm going to go ahead and work this opposite side with the round part of the hammer, and then we'll look at it and see where we need to go from there. So I don't know if you can tell on camera, but in those two heats, I've added about a ½ inch almost to the length, but I'm not getting the width I want. So this next heat, I'm going to go ahead and flatten it back out, and then we're going to switch to the cross peen. Like I said, this time we're going to use the flat side. When you're using the flat side of the hammer, you want to control it more, because if you hit at a funky angle, you leave a deep divot in it, and it just wants to bounce off weird. And see, most of our divots from using the round side of the hammer are gone. So we're nice and fairly flat. Like I said, I want a little more depth this way. I'm pretty close to what I want this way. So I'm going to switch my hammers and go to the cross peen. I'm going to work it like this. As that peen hits, it's just going to want to stretch the metal vertically. So like I said, now we're going to use the cross peen and stretch the metal vertically. I want it thinner down here on the edge because this is going to be the cutting edge, so I'm going to try to work it more on this side. As you can see, the thinner it gets, the faster you lose your heat. I'm pretty close there to the dimensions I'm wanting. We'll clean this up back here. This next heat, I'll clean that up just a little bit more so I want it nice and smooth. And then we're going to start working in our bevel for the cutting edge. Slight blows here because I'm just trying to clean this up. I'm not trying to move it a whole lot. Oh, just a little bit of a curve in that. I think it's just about what I want on the back side of it there. And I've swapped to another rounding hammer. This is just a small one. Now I'm going to start on my bevels here, and I want to work right up here on this shelf and just work right on the edge. I'm going to hold this up just a little bit to get my angle. When you're doing bevels, you want to try to work both sides. You see we're thinning that out. Hold it this way. We're putting a taper in for about half of it. When you forge in bevels, your steel naturally wants to curve. So you're stretching this side so it's pushing out this way, and it's nothing pushing on this side, so it's naturally just wanting to put a curve in it. Which for what I'm making here is what I want. You see how the spine of it's wanting to curve, and you're also getting curve on the blade portion. I'm pretty close there to what we want. Just some light taps here just to clean everything up. So we're going to go back in the forge, and I'm going to start working on the handle portion. Just want to draw this out to about twice maybe what it is now. Just a nice little thin taper down there on the end. Not quite twice what it was, but I think it's long enough for what kind of handle we're going to put on it. Got some other heat. We're going to try to flatten everything out right here. Make it nice and square. Well, this one I think I'm going to do something a little bit different than I normally do, and I'm going to put us a roll in the tail of this handle. I'll start with my little scroll end that I normally do. I'm just going to roll it up, maybe another complete round. It cools off pretty quick. So now I got it started. I could hammer this in, but I'm going to use these scrolling pliers to try to roll that up. It gets harder as it cools off. I'm just going to play with this a little bit to get it more where I want it. This may not work the way I want it to. This part, most of the time I would use a bending jig, but for this one I'm just going to do it right here over the horn of the anvil. Get it started. Try to work that back just a little bit. That's pretty close to what I want right there. I kind of skipped a step, but I think it's going to work out. I'm going to go back and take one more heat, and I'm going to put a twist in the middle of it. And I'm going to do this part real quick, and then I will explain how and why I'm doing it the way I am. That didn't work out quite the way I wanted it. Kind of rushed it. And I may just go ahead and get another heat, finish twisting on up here. What I was trying to do was put this here for a backing, so my twist would start here and just go back to here, but I didn't come up far enough with my tongs to isolate the twist. Typically, this is why I use a torch to do this and don't do it in the forge, because when you heat the whole piece, with just two hands, it's hard to just isolate where you want something twisted instead of twisting the whole length of it. So now we're just going to make sure everything's straight and then lined the way we want it. And I'm going to let it cool off. Do just a little bit of grinding and then we're going to heat treat it. I think that looks pretty good right there. While our piece is cooling, we're going to check on tonight's supper. We've got some good locally sourced beef ribs smoking on mesquite, and that is going to be tasty. So about the only grinding I have to do to this piece is just clean up this curve on my cutting edge as thin as I want it right now for when I go to do the quench. So after we quench it, we'll let it cool, we'll temper it, and then I'll come back and clean the bevels up. It's got a 120 grit belt on my grinder here. You can use an angle grinder for this, or you can use a file. You don't have to have a big nice 2x72 grinder, but I have one, so that's what I'm using. There we go. I did come back and finish twisting that handle the rest of the way. Now ready for heat treat. So one thing I've done off camera was the normalization cycles. And what that does, you heat it up to non-magnetic and then let it cool back. And I've done that 3 times. And what that does is relaxes the steel. For when you're forging it, you put a lot of stress in the steel. This typically normal things you do is a blacksmith triangles and hooks and stuff like that. You don't have to worry about it. But when you're making something that you're going to harden and quench, you want the stress out of the steel as much as you can. That helps you avoid cracking and warping. So I run the normalization cycles, then we quenched it, tempered it, and it's cleaned up, and there is our finished herb chopper. So that brings us to the end of the video. Thank y'all for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it helped you learn something. Stay tuned for more.